They laughed at the janitor in uniform until the SEAL Admiral called him Sir. They laughed when they saw him, a janitor wearing a faded uniform. Too old, too quiet, too out of place. But when the SEAL Admiral entered the room, everything changed. Because instead of asking his name, the Admiral stood at attention and called him Sir. The morning at the naval base began like any other. Boots echoed down steel hallways. Commands snapped through the air. Elite SEALs moved with precision and confidence. And then there was him, a janitor pushing a cleaning cart. His uniform was old, faded at the edges, patches worn thin, not regulation, not current, almost forgotten by time. Some SEALs smirked. One whispered, "Did he get lost?" Another chuckled, "Wrong building, old man." The janitor didn't react. He moved slowly, deliberately, each step measured, each glance calm. Too calm. What they didn't notice was how he stood. His posture wasn't slouched, his shoulders weren't weak, his eyes weren't wandering. They were scanning. Angles, reflections, blind spots. Decades of habit hidden behind silence. When a young SEAL brushed past him, the janitor subtly shifted his stance, instinctively protecting the hallway behind him. No one noticed, except one man. The mood shifted instantly when Admiral Robert Hale entered the corridor. Conversations stopped. Laughter died. Every SEAL snapped to attention. The Admiral's eyes swept the hallway. Then they stopped, locked onto the janitor. The Admiral slowed his walk. His expression changed. Not confusion, but recognition. His jaw tightened. And then something unthinkable happened. The Admiral stopped directly in front of the janitor. The SEALs waited, expecting a reprimand. Instead, the Admiral stood straighter, raised his hand, and saluted. "Good morning, sir," he said firmly. The hallway froze. A janitor being saluted by a SEAL Admiral? Mouths fell open, eyes widened, breaths stopped. The janitor slowly looked up. His eyes were steady. Familiar. The janitor returned the salute, not casually, not sloppily. Perfect form. Sharp, exact, undeniable. Whispers exploded. "Did you see that? Who is he? Why would the Admiral?" The janitor spoke for the first time. "Morning, Admiral." 2 words, heavy with history. Previously on United War. SEALs mocked a janitor in an outdated uniform. Then an admiral entered and saluted him. Now, the question echoing through the base is simple. Who is he? The hallway felt smaller. No one spoke. No one moved. The janitor lowered his hand first, returning to stillness like nothing had happened. The admiral turned to the SEALs. "At ease," he commanded, but none of them could relax. Their eyes kept drifting back to the man with the mop. The admiral's voice dropped. "You don't recognize him," he said. "That's understandable. Most of you weren't even born when he last wore this uniform." The janitor said nothing. He simply waited. The first crack in the facade. A young SEAL finally broke the silence. "With respect, sir, why is he here?" The admiral studied the janitor for a long moment before answering. "Because this base exists, in part because of him." The words landed like a blow. The janitor shifted slightly, uncomfortable with the attention. His hands bore scars, faint, old, deliberate. Not accidents, experience. The admiral's warning. The admiral's tone hardened. "You train here because men like him made it possible," he said. "Men who operated without recognition, without ceremony, and without mistakes."
He turned back to the janitor. "Sir, I didn't expect to see you again." The janitor replied quietly, "I didn't expect to be seen." That answer unsettled the room more than any shout ever could. The test of discipline. The Admiral suddenly addressed the SEALs. "Training exercise, now." Confusion rippled. The janitor stepped aside. SEALs rushed to positions, adrenaline spiking. But something felt off. As they moved, the janitor watched, not impressed, not surprised, just observing. When one SEAL cut a corner too wide, the janitor spoke, calm, precise. "Ambush angle," he said. The SEAL froze. The Admiral's eyes narrowed, because the janitor was right, perfectly right. The beginning of fear. The laughter from earlier was gone, replaced by unease, respect, unearned but growing. The janitor picked up his mop again, as if none of this mattered. But the Admiral watched him go, knowing the truth. This wasn't a janitor filling time. This was a legend, trying to disappear.
Previously on United War. The Admiral saluted a janitor, hinted that the base existed because of him. And now, the past is about to step out of the shadows. The unexpected order. The Admiral stood in the center of the training floor. "Lock it down," he ordered. Steel doors sealed, monitors flickered on. Weapons were cleared, but not removed. The SEALs exchanged glances. This wasn't standard. The Admiral turned to the janitor. "Sir, we have a scenario that's been defeating every team we run." The janitor didn't answer immediately. He looked around the room. Not at faces, at exits, corners, ceiling lines. Finally, he spoke. "Show me." The scenario no one could solve. The simulation began. A hostage situation inside a tight structure. Multiple blind angles, false heat signatures. SEAL teams had failed the scenario for weeks. The janitor stepped forward slowly. "No stack," he said. "No breach." Murmurs spread. "That violates doctrine." "Doctrine gets people killed," the janitor replied calmly. He repositioned the team in seconds, changed entry angles, directed pressure points, turned weaknesses into traps. The Admiral watched in silence. He had seen this before. Perfection under pressure. The simulation restarted. This time, everything changed. Targets neutralized, hostage secured, 0 casualties, in record time. The room was silent. One SEAL whispered, "That's impossible." The janitor exhaled slowly. "You telegraphed your intent," he said, "so they prepared for it." He tapped the screen. "Never let them know what you're thinking." Every SEAL in the room felt it. They weren't being taught. They were being corrected. The name returns. The Admiral finally spoke. "Call sign," he said quietly. The janitor hesitated. Just a fraction of a second. "Ghost Actual," he replied. The color drained from the room. Every SEAL knew that name. A classified operator, a phantom commander, a man whose missions were erased from history. A legend who wasn't supposed to exist. The weight of truth. The janitor stepped back. "I came here to disappear," he said, "not to be remembered." The Admiral nodded. But some legends don't get that choice. Previously on United War, a janitor revealed himself as Ghost Actual, a legend erased from history. Now, the reason he vanished and why he stands here today will finally be revealed. The Admiral dismissed the room to essential personnel only. Doors closed, no cameras, no records. "This stays here," the Admiral said. Then he turned to the janitor. "Tell them." Ghost Actual inhaled slowly. "On my last operation," he began, "we succeeded, and it changed everything. The mission saved hundreds of lives, but it also exposed something dangerous: how fragile command decisions could be when politics entered the battlefield. The fallout was swift. Ghost Actual was ordered to disappear, not discharged, not honored, erased." "Why Janitor?" one SEAL asked quietly. Ghost Actual answered without bitterness. "Because invisibility is safer than legacy," he said, "and peace is louder when you've lived through war." He wanted normal days, quiet hallways, a life where no one expected him to make impossible choices. The Admiral nodded. "You earned that peace, but fate had other plans." The Admiral faced the SEALs. "From this day forward," he said, "this base trains to his standard." Every SEAL stood taller. Then the Admiral turned back to Ghost Actual. "Sir, we don't need you to fight again." A pause. "We need you to teach." Ghost Actual looked around, at the young faces, the future. Slowly, he nodded. One by one, the SEALs snapped to attention, not because they were ordered to, because they understood. Ghost Actual didn't salute back immediately. Then, precise, sharp, final. Not as a ghost, but as a commander. They laughed at the janitor in uniform, until the Admiral called him Sir. Because true rank isn't worn on the chest, it's carried in the choices no one ever sees. This is United War, where legends don't fade, they wait.